Mama's in the living room watching Judge Judy. I'm in the kitchen eating leftover sushi, and she yells, "Oh, girl, you gotta hear this one." A man was arrested for running the theme park, and when they said, "Where's your license?" he said, "My dog ate it." Oh, you can't make this shit up. Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on her Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, "Girl, you gotta hear this one." Mama loves to laugh at how absurd life is, says it's all a comedy and I'm her audience. And I love the way she makes fun of the world. She said, "You'll never guess what's true with their girlfriend. It was a man who didn't get us out of the bed. He said, I've been through hell and now I need some help. You just can't make this shit up. You just can't make this shit up." Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, "Girl, you gotta hear this one."
All caps means you're either panicking or trying to represent yourself in court. Both are mistakes. Your feelings are adorable, but they're not admissible, persuasive, or even interesting without evidence. Yes, Heather hates immunity doctrines. It's a personality trait at this point. You don't need to remind her, she wakes up angry about it. Bring receipts. No, I heard it from so and so. This is quid pro quo, not next door. Screenshots are statutes only. Don't fight each other. Fight the law. It deserves it more. If you're offended, excellent. That means you're awake, paying attention, and probably new here. No diagnosing the host. She's petty, not pathological. And don't diagnose anyone else. Stay in your lane, please and thank you. Do not summon the mods. They're tired, hangry, and may bite when provoked. Disagree loudly if you must. The algorithm eats drama for breakfast. Just keep it cute while you argue wrongfully. If you're taking screenshots of my chat, touch grass, tell your handlers. I said hi and find a hobby that isn't me.
Hey guys, I got a quick question for you. If you have a protection order and you go to another state, shouldn't that order still protect you? Because at the heart of this claim, that's the basic point that Jeremy is arguing. It's not only that a prosecutor allegedly told law enforcement not to enforce it and started questioning whether it should even exist. Most of you know this, but now with all that comes the question, is this a violation of someone's rights, or just a prosecutor doing their job? And the bigger question, the one that actually decides this entire case, can this claim get past immunity? And listen, guys, before we start arguing, if y'all have been here longer than 5 minutes, you know how I feel about immunity. I hate it. It shouldn't exist. And it's already in the petty chat rules. So we're not going to waste time arguing about it because ain't nobody got time for that shit. But yeah, we hate immunity. Immunity shouldn't exist. Everybody hates it. It's a well-known fact. We're not wasting time on it. But here's the question for today. Can these documents that we're going to look at today and tomorrow, because we're not getting through this in one day, get past immunity? Because if it can't, nothing matters. All right, joining me today is my pretty, who is here on time, and Spawn Trooper. How are you guys?
Well, I'm giving you the side eye, considering that you stole my pretty. Funny enough, right?
I did not steal my pretty. I said, hey, if y'all are available, here's the link. That's all I said. I did not steal no one. Can't put that shit on me.
Go to Squid. If she asks,
Well,
you know that.
Well, all I'm going to say is the less communication, yeah. Anyway, I'll shut up. I forgot what I was going to say now. Basically, I'm going to touch base with both of you after this. I mean, I don't think I can stay long.
Okay.
But what I will be doing is I'm going to fucking say it now anyway. I am going to start streaming again, but I am only going to be giving my opinion about this whole what the hell's all bullshit, because to be honest with you, I would rather go outside and watch a fucking tree grow. To be perfectly honest with you, because at least then
I did say in my petty rules, go touch grass, but
no, I mean it's coming to a point. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but it is coming to a point where, like, at the end of the day, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. This has been going on so long now. Everything seems to be repetitive. People don't want to listen to any type of input or any type of advice. You know, half the people don't even do their own research, and then when they do their research, right, it's like you know, like little birds. You know, the mother comes and the birds takes food into the little, and it's like it gets to a point where the little bird's going to go, fuck that, I'm going to go and find my own food.
It's been, using your bird analogy, it's been regurgitated
Yes.
way too many times.
Yeah.
The same things. The reason why this is interesting to me is because I followed a case. If y'all people that don't always join my other streams that are what the Hales, but I covered a case with a judge in Milwaukee that was accused of something, convicted of something. However, she tried to hide behind judicial immunity. So this immunity thing is fascinating to me in the sense of I don't think it should exist. So cases that involve immunity with the courts fascinate me in the sense of maybe we can start getting rid of this immunity thing and bring it back to what it was supposed to be in England 1607.
Huh.
Where our immunity
Fucking hell, you made me cough when you said that.
Spawn, it's true. Our judicial immunity and the judicial immunity process came from 1607, where a court case was lost and people tried to sue or go after the judge because they lost their criminal case. And it's like, that is what immunity is supposed to be. You cannot lose your case and then sue the judge because you lost. That is what immunity is supposed to be.
Right. It's not a get out of jail free for everything that you do ticket.
Exactly.
Well, I mean,
and that's what it's become.
I mean, here's what I can't understand. I mean, obviously, over the period of time that we've been following this, and everyone has been following, and that, you know, everyone's got their opinion. Fine, I respect that. But when you repeat that opinion continuously and you don't actually fucking progress in the information that you're trying to gather, where do you draw the line of, like, you know, world of reality, world of fantasy? Where do you go, well, hang on a minute, you know, we've watched everything happen, we've witnessed, I mean, everything that comes from that, from what the Hales and anti what the Hales say, we've been watching it. Yeah, I mean, you can put two and two together. At the end of the day, Jeremy Hales is going to walk away with quite a few wins but a couple of losses, and the anti what the Hales, at least one or two of them are going to jail. One of them needs psychiatric fucking evaluation, and I mean seriously.
Oh yeah. On that note, it
Yes.
also says in the petty rules, I'm petty, not pathological. Don't diagnose me, but don't diagnose anybody else. And if you have a diagnosis, I am not one to ask for medical advice. I do not give medical advice. I do not
No.
treat mental health conditions. I will never treat
The
mental health
behavior-
conditions. Not my job, not my area of expertise.
Yeah, but the
Don't ask.
behavior evaluates. Fucking hell, what's the word now? The behavior of this individual, okay, evaluates that he or she should be fucking seen by a professional, because that is not common. That is not normal behavior. As far as as far as I want to go into that part. But at the end of the day, when you behave the way you behave, then the actions you cause will have the reactions you will not like.
That's very true.
I mean,
That's true.
certain threats were made, even if it's like hearsay or it's just a figure of speech. It's like, oh, I'm going to kick the shit out of you. That's a figure of speech, or like, oh, fucking yeah, I'm going to. But when you actually state it like it's a norm and it's going to happen tomorrow morning.
Even figure of speeches, when it comes to the cops and they see copies of text messages that say, even between husband and wife, I'm going to kick your ass.
I mean,
then,
like, you know, I mean, like, I don't want to be on here. I'd rather be saying it myself on my own platform. But at the same time, it needs to be said. People need to get their fucking asses out of their heads, because the thing.
mean heads out of their asses?
What did I say?
Asses out of their heads.
Well, whatever. you knew what I was saying. You knew.
I know. I just did a mental picture on that one, and it wasn't pretty.
That's no, but because I like this weekend. I've been a little bit busy this weekend. I spent some time and I watched, and I even watched certain individuals that I am not going to mention publicly. And no, it's not fucking. It's no, it's what the hell's.
Like I said, I don't watch nobody.
And basically, all I can say is this: therapists are fairly cheap. Counselors and therapists are fairly cheap. Okay, there are organizations out there in America. I think it's 988. Is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah. Over here, Samaritans also.
I should probably know that.
If you, and this is a serious note, and this is a public announcement, if you at any time need to talk to someone because of one thing or the other, or you are in that dark room, that dark hole, and you need to talk to someone, pick up that phone, dial 988 or dial the Samaritans and talk to someone. Do not go through that alone, right? And there's always going to be someone there who will listen, no matter what. And it will take time to help. It'll take time to fix. It will take time to get you somewhere where you need to be. So don't expect it to happen instantly. There you go. Public announcement, end of transmission.
All right. These documents are quite long, so we are not going to read them word for word because, sweet baby Jesus, we don't have time. I don't have the mental capacity for that, but we are going to hit some highlights. But before we do that, I just want to get to the chat real quick. Unhung Hero, thanks for being a member for 18 months. Get green, chat. And then he gifted 20 Squid Pro Quo memberships. Unhung Hero, you are one of the best. I couldn't do this without you. And Robert Ward, thanks for being a member for 7 months. Woohoo! 7 months. I know, it seems like just yesterday. How is everybody doing? Oh, it's been a day. There's a reason I don't stream on Mondays anymore, really, is because Mondays, from the time I get up till about 10 p.m., I don't stop moving. So we are tired. I got up at 5 o'clock this morning and started doing laundry because it's 85 degrees outside right now. It's hotter than Satan's butt crack, and I am not prepared for this heat this fast.
Oh,
So,
shit. I can picture that.
and okay, hold on. And I have to go take care of a mama situation. So what we are going to do right now is I'm going to get into this document. I'm going to share it, and then we are going to start going over it. Let's see if I have to do this. There we go. And I will let you guys start discussing what you think of this, because life is in the way. I'm coming. I will be right back.
I just finished reading it today. I just finished reading the whole thing. It whoever wrote it, I was telling Squid, it sounds like it was written by somebody different than what is normally writing these motions. She said maybe it was an appellate, an attorney, or someone that writes this. But it I mean, they lay it out very clearly in this order, exactly what they're asking for. But you never know what's going to happen at the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't get any clearer, really, could you?
No. I mean, he specifically says the whole crust of the case is, did they intentionally not uphold the order? And I mean, we've seen that happen in the emails with what the officer said, that that Owen said, I would, use caution when enforcing this, basically, like, just,
Yeah.
I don't think I would do it if I was you. And officers, you guys got to think too about police officers. They go to 6 weeks, sometimes 12 weeks of training to be a police officer. And it's the only job I know of that you can have a profession and you really literally have hardly any knowledge of how to do the job. As far as the law goes, you may know how to take somebody down, you may know how to arrest somebody, you may know that particular thing, but the actual law itself, you don't know the law. That's why you have that direct line to that attorney, district attorney, the one that you can pick up the phone and say, hey, this is what's going on. What should I do? You have that direct line. You have that backup. And I just think he failed them. He failed the police officers on this. I really do think that he failed them. If he had just said, yes, according to the law, this is a order. It is to be enforced in this state as it is to be enforced in all states. And they would have enforced it based upon his recommendation, but they didn't enforce it based upon his recommendation.
Well, no, they ignored it.
Yeah.
Considering it's a statewide freaking order.
I mean, imagine, and I'm going to say ladies because, well, I'm a lady. So I'm going to reach out to the ladies.
You're not lady, you are a queen.
You got that right, baby.
Wait, what?
Preach it. Amen. Hallelujah. But imagine that you have been in a relationship where you've gotten the living tar whooped out of you. All right. And this person that you've been in a relationship with, male or female, don't matter, has totally destroyed you. You get a protection order because that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to act on, things. You're supposed to go to the police. You're supposed to file these orders. You're supposed to get this protection order. Now you've got this protection order. You feel safe. You feel secure. You take your family and you live in Ohio and you decide to go to Disney World and take your family to Disney World. Well, let's say that your attacker or whatever follows you to Disney. You expect you're going to be protected in Florida at Disney World with your family, just like you're protected in, let's say, Ohio at the Piggly Wiggly.
One thing, and my, no disrespect, sorry to interrupt. Well, we do it to each other anyway. No, here's the thing that I would really like to understand is that at the end of the day, you plead the oath and everything else as a police officer, and you got the DA down there, you got the court systems down there in Levy County. And yes, a lot of people who live there and who know about there, and you know, I mean, obviously I don't live there. One thing that really pisses me off is the
I
good
had
old
no
boy
idea.
system. Is that like the good old boy system? One doesn't out trump law, the book of law, the woman of law, the lady who is blindfolded with the old way and shit. It doesn't out trump that. So my question is this: no, regardless of this document or not, regardless of the outcome, whatever, can civil action be taken against the county itself as a state in regards of breaking federal law? Or is it one of those things where it's like being a Chinese Irishman walking through a Japanese minefield, blindfolded?
That's what Squid's talking about with the immunity. It's
No, I'm
you're
not.
up against a wall with that. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, y'all see, you're up against a wall with that, with the immunity issue. You're up against a wall because it's used so much inappropriately.
Yeah,
It's lost its meaning and now is just thrown out there of I can do anything I want to do and I can hide behind immunity because I'm a judge or I'm a this or I'm a cop or I'm a prosecutor. It's like that's not the way it was supposed to work.
right. That's a good point, actually. Some more scammers don't win. Ruster Suss has a brother or a relative who is on the commission. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is this possibly the reason why everything that's been happening in Otter Creek and in that area is because of, you know, the old backhand, the old magic handshake type of thing there?
I don't know. I think it's his nephew, actually. But yes, I'm going to tell you, I'm from the South. I live in the South, and my mama always told me it's not what you know, but who you know.
Or the box of chocolates that you're eating.
Yeah.
So I'm a little different. I'm from Wisconsin. I've lived in Ohio. I've lived in Kentucky. I've lived in Virginia, and I've lived in Georgia, and it's the same everywhere. Small towns. It doesn't matter north, south, wherever. It is not always about what you know. It's about who you know.
Yeah, because if you know the right person, you can get out of anything.
Yeah. See,
And
this is where
Beth
that's
said
where
Supreme Court has just amplified the idea and reach of the topic of immunity. Oh, great. And hi, everybody in chat. Sorry I didn't say hi to you individually. I'm a woman on a mission today. You can tell the little is having a day where she's overly emotional about everything. Whether that be high, good emotions, or I'm pissed at the world. That's where we find ourselves today. So I apologize for not saying hi to everybody individually, all 55 of you that are here. And this is how you know that people only like Hales and not me, because there used to be like 150 to 200 people in these streams. And now that I'm not like the first person out with it, no one cares. And it's like,
you see, I care more about the community than I care about the topic. I mean, like, you know, but then again, that's me, innit?
True. But I'm just saying, because when I said that I wasn't going to cover Hales as much anymore, I lost about 30 subscribers.
Yeah.
So if that tells you anything.
Yeah, but sometimes
you put a couple of Supreme Court related. I saw one Castle Rock v. something. I just didn't see it. Castle Rock v. Gonzalez reinforced the principle that government has no constitutional duty to protect individuals relating to a restraining order. And that right there is pathetic. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. All right. So getting into this, we're going to skip over some of the stuff that we literally already know, like who's involved. Jeremy and George are known as the appellants or plaintiffs, and the appellee is Dan Owen. This appeal arises from final judgment of the U.S. District Court of Northern District of Florida. We know. If we don't know, there's a whole playlist on it. Subject matter jurisdiction. Pursuant to 28 U.S. Code 1331, these cases arise under federal law. Plaintiff appellants brought claims under 42-1983, alleging violations of their constitutional rights under the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment and the Full Faith and Credit Clause of Article 4, Section 1 of the U.S. Constitution. Additionally, plaintiff alleges violations of 18 U.S. Code 2265, federal statute requiring enforcement of protection orders issued by other states. These claims present federal questions. Court of Appeals jurisdiction, 11th Circuit. It's in the 11th Circuit. Timeliness, obviously it's timely. They had until April to get this in. I want to say, I wrote it down. I had not looked at my calendar, but they had until April. So, final order of the appellate jurisdictions. The appeal is taken from final order. Yes, we know all the stuff we know. So I'm literally just skimming it. If there's anything that y'all in chat want to see or that my pretty or Spawn you want to talk about, just stop me.
Be honest with you, I just want to see these two. There's two court cases that I really want to see fucking do that, and that's the bankruptcy and this Ohio stuff.
Can you grab it for me? No. So Roy says, I like steak. You're stuck with me as long as you smell like steak. He is referring to my beef tallow skincare, which I do have a discount code for if y'all want to try what is making this WTF line in the middle of my forehead start to go away. Beef tallow skincare. But he tells me I now smell like steak. I do not. But if you tell me that I smell like steak versus super chatting me, so I say the one of the defendants in the NIL lawsuit that I used to cover out of the same district in Florida, I will gladly say I smell like steak. All right. Yes, and here is the link to the Tallow Truth. So, full faith and credit. Do I smell like steak? No? Okay. There's your answer. Failure to give full faith and credit to protection orders, whether Appellee Owen, a Florida state official, violated 18 U.S. Code 2265 by refusing to recognize and enforce valid protection orders in an Ohio court. Federal right enforceable through Section 1983, whether full faith and credit in its implementing statute 2265 created a federal right enforceable through 1983. Also, whether Appellee Owen's investigation into the truthfulness of Plaintiff Hales' statement in obtaining the Ohio protection orders violated the statutory mandate to enforce the foreign protection orders as if they were of the enforcing state. Here's the thing. This is well written so far. However, this is the primary legal hurdle is the immunity, because none of this matters if they can't get past the immunity. And I have not read through this entire thing. Lord knows we didn't have time. We went on a trip this weekend to visit my in-laws, the ones we actually speak to, and their new baby. So it's been a weekend where I didn't have time to do much, and when I did, it was for the other channel. So, like, you want to call Daddy? Okay, but you got to go in the other room. Okay, hold on.
I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, like we were saying the last time we spoke about Randy Sockett or Jeremy's legal team writing the response, I think that the two documents that were respondent from Heindel and not Heindel, from the two judges, I think that's changed their sort of like insight and point of view. So they're being very careful. They're dotting their I's, they're crossing their T's, and they're being very careful what they're putting in. So maybe we'll see a more assertive, more professional, more to the point motions, even though we've been seeing them, but even more so. My God, I just sounded like an American.
I knew we'd get you eventually.
God dang it! Violated already. I feel bad. No, man. Mama.
All right. Before we get back into it, I'm gonna get through all of these member chats and super chats. Turtle Turtles, thanks for being a member for 15 months. Older than I thought. Been a while. I can't believe it's been that long since I've had members. 18 months. And Kasha, thanks for the $2 super chat for the banana fund for the little. We haven't had a banana in like a month. And there are reasons for that.
I had a banana yesterday. And today.
Annie, thanks for the 10 Squid Pro Quo memberships. You are very much appreciated. 5 o'clock. I had already been up for almost an hour with the time change because your 5 o'clock is my 8 o'clock. Just saying. Technically, I got up at 4. Well, I had the thank God for a washer and dryer that have a delayed timer because I had the washer set to start at 4 a.m. Timothy, thanks for the 5 memberships. Y'all are awesome. Kasha, thanks again for the 5 Squid Pro Quo memberships. And Jeffrey, thanks for being a member for a year. Happy anniversary, 12 months of Squidsville.
How do you do it, Jeffrey?
And Harry, thanks for the $5 super chat for candy and doing a great job. Thank you. I'm doing my best. Ung Hung Hero, thanks for the $5 super chat. Do you smell like steak or... It's H-A-T-H. Half. Instructions unclear. Shush. Shush your face. If I didn't like you so damn much. Robert Ford, thanks for the $5 super chat. Owens has no immunity after he wrote the email to the sheriff's department not to enforce the CPO. Here's the thing. You would think that would be common logic.
Right.
However, as we've discovered in life, as we've discovered in this life, what is always common sense with the law isn't so damn common. That's the problem. Because the email was in the original complaint, if I'm remembering correctly, and it still didn't get over that immunity hurdle. So I noticed that Lip's main YouTube channel is gone. I haven't checked lately. I just figured her husband shut off the internet again.
But here's the most important question here's the most important response to that about the YouTube channel. Who cares?
That's it. Yeah, who cares?
Wait a minute. Let me see if I got a bag of... No, I've totally ran out.
What did this? Okay, hold on. Let me change my edit avatar.
How many folks?
I don't have it on here, but I have it on yours. When I go on Spawn Stream and I turn off my camera, it says, I almost pull a muscle not giving a... Like, like I completely understand where you guys are coming from. However, Red Beetles, no offense to you. This is nothing personal against you. Like, I literally, to me, certain people in this world aren't worth thinking about. They're not worth my mental bandwidth. And that person, except for making fun of her when she called me a felon, most people aren't worth it. I don't have enough time to think about what I need to think about. These 2 channels that I have would be a lot better off if I had, 26 or 28 hours in a day instead of 24. So I don't have I'm brain damaged, y'all. I had brain surgery. I don't have the mental bandwidth to think about people who aren't important. So I don't get the chance to watch many other channels because I watch Bluey all day.
I remember those days.
And when I do have the time to myself, I am not watching drama channels. I am watching things that I am watching sports and or doing my own work. So, but it's hard to think about people. Like, I don't even get to go into people's streams that I really like. So, And Hong Kong Hero, thanks for the $2 super chat. Not giving an F is the only muscle I flex, or I regularly flex.
I mean, I need to start
Anyway.
getting back into a routine again. You know,
And Annie M, thanks for the $5 super chat. Owens didn't follow instructions written by his boss in Tallahassee, so he might not have immunity. That's what I'm hoping for.
Right.
Like I said, I hate immunity. There is no love lost for any freaking judge or prosecutor or law enforcement who tries to hide behind immunity. There is no, like, y'all know how I feel about it. I've said it. We're not preaching it. However, it's kind of one of those situations where I'm like, that is, if they can't get over the hurdle of immunity, nothing else in these documents matter.
Right. It doesn't matter what he did. It doesn't matter whether he did his job or not. It completely becomes moot. It doesn't matter.
That's the problem. Is I just feel like in certain situations, people focus on the wrong thing, and that's what works them up and gets them emotional. Like, I understand the shittiness of this. I am not a personal fan of police officers. I am not a personal fan of the judicial system as well as a whole. That's why I watch it, so we can learn about it, see the corruption or the bullshit, and call it out. However, once again, we always go to, just because something is morally wrong and sometimes legally, there are protections for people. And those hurdles are incredibly high to jump. Like, this means you don't watch the craft channels? What do you mean the craft channels? My top people on YouTube are Sean Ryan and Charlotte Dobre and On3 Sports. Like, that's my... And then during football season, it's sports, and more sports. Like, I don't have time for things. And I even don't get to watch as much sports as I want because Bluey.
Well, you know what I noticed about this, Squid, is this is proof positive to all of us as American citizens. All of us. It's not easy to hold our government accountable. It's not easy. They say, you file a case and, you get before a judge. And if you can get before the judge, or the jury, then you get to plead your case. But there's so much up to just getting to that point. Sometimes you don't even get that far. And that's what Jeremy's facing in this.
Yeah.
He's having to do so much just to get heard. And I think I'm with you on the immunity thing. I think that is the main problem, is that unfortunately, and I'm not saying all, because I know some wonderful, wonderful deputies and police officers, and they're just wonderful guys. But there are people that abuse this privilege of immunity to the highest extent.
they abuse it.
Yeah, and if you are just joining the chat and you want to hear our immunity discussion, back up to like minute 5 when we talk about the origins of immunity, which I learned when I was following Hannah Dugan's case, the judge in Wisconsin that tried to hide behind immunity for interfering with an ICE issue. However, she tried to hide behind judicial immunity, and the jury said no.
Actual fact, can I just interject here very quickly?
Yeah.
I believe that any type of law enforcement or anyone in the United States, anywhere around the world, a police officer should only have immunity if internal affairs have proclaimed you to be innocent and that the allegations against you are false.
Not even internal affairs. You need a third-party investigation.
Yeah, no. Let me finish now.
Sorry.
Thank you, madam, milady. Right. Now, once the internal affairs are done, okay, it then goes, thank you very much for jumping the gun. It then goes for a third person. The third person or the third party is an independent investigative party, may it be the courts or whatever, and they basically then do their investigations. Now, you keep your immunity if they can prove with 100% fact that you are innocent, then fine, you keep the immunity. If there is doubt or question, then you should be treated like any other person. but it's you as an individual, not your department. Because at the end of the day, right, your department is not responsible for your actions. They are responsible for your education and training. There is a big difference there. Now, immunity, qualified immunity, I think people hide behind that like a label. They know, oh, I've got quality immunity because I'm a police officer, therefore I can do such this. So I do think that like the only time you should get it is if there has been 100% factual proof that you are innocent or that the facts are stating other. I hope that makes sense. I'm not an Americanese, so obviously, can you, Pam, or can you, or you, Squid, can you translate that into Americanese, please? May it be northern, southern, middle, whatever. There you go.
I get what you're saying. Do y'all have qualified immunity over there too?
It started over there. The reason why we have qualified immunity is his fault.
What is it called over there? Is it called the same thing or is it called something different?
Sorry.
I
mean,
actually,
like, my brain's just gone blank. Hang on a minute. We do have qualified immunity, but the system over here is completely different to the way it's over there. Right? The police do have a complaints commission board. Now, if you, for example, like the police officer has done something wrong, right, then they can contact, then they can put a complaint into the police commission's complaints board, and what they will do, that it's like an omnibusman. They have like a third party that will then investigate it. However, they've got a complete different system, and don't forget, I wasn't police force. I was army. I do have friends in the police. I mean, I can find out for you.
I was just curious.
I can find out the proper step-by-step system they've got. I could do that. I can make a phone call tonight or tomorrow. That's if he's not pissed tonight. But like, you know, I mean, I mean, I can find it out. But there is a system over here, and the thing is, they do take it extremely serious over here. If a police officer is put on a complaint, they do investigate it properly, and they don't mess about over here. But unfortunately, some police officers do slip through the, you know, like in any country, they do slip through the net.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really know exactly what I would.
Good evening, my queen.
Call it, but we have immunity because of Britain.
Right.
So I would assume they still have it, but it probably isn't as twisted as it is here. And Malin, yeah, I did see it about your comment about it. I responded to it. I thought I did. So either way.
And I do agree that there does need to be something in place for when, you know, something happens or a police officer does something unbeknownst to him and he does it wrong. But for this particular case here, we're not talking about a police officer that's running the streets. We're not talking about somebody that is just a normal, you might call it a beat officer, you know. We're talking about Dan Owens. This man's supposed to know the law. He didn't get 6 weeks of training. He got years of training.
Right, let me just send a text to, I'm going to send a text to a friend.
Supposedly. All right, getting back into this, there's a couple things here that are kind of like, woo, there we go. Violation of due process, qualified immunity. Here, whether appellee Owen is entitled to qualified immunity for his conduct in refusing to enforce the Ohio protection orders and investigating their validity. When you're investigating something, like everybody has the right to investigate to a limited scope. You cannot investigate, and I don't know exactly what the scope is for a prosecutor, but for a judge, like they can only do a minuscule amount of,
Right.
It just.
Well, at the
So-
moment the moment he started investigating, the moment
Right,
he
well-
started investigating, it appears that his role changes. He is no longer as an attorney. He is now actually working under law enforcement. He is actually trying to enforce laws. He is looking into whether or not a crime has been committed when there is nothing before him. So he's doing this without having an actual, I guess, case before him to look into whether a crime's been committed or not.
And that's the thing. Like, that's the question, according to Florida statute, that I would see as the big thing is, was there any reason for him to, have a reason to investigate?
Right.
And honestly, I'm being perfectly honest with you. I don't know what exactly like sparked the reason that he supposedly felt the need to investigate.
Check private message.
All right, and Ninja Puppy, thanks for the Amazon list. I purchased. I appreciate that so very, very much, because those are blue light glasses, and that will definitely help my vision, because I'm starting to get headaches looking at this computer every day. So, UK, yeah.
Yes, sweetheart. Yes, please. You're right. You look very
Not immune from negligence or human rights claims. Well, that makes total sense. And that's
I was
part
right.
of the.
I just, to be honest with you, I really didn't want to comment into. I mean, like, I do know that the thing is, a lot of people, Canada, the UK, sort of similar rules, but obviously you have domestic laws that have copied up, like come over. Like in America, you had your basic domestic laws, and obviously your evolution in law has come to this. Whereas in the UK, police don't have immunity, especially against human rights claims or civil claims. So no, they don't have it.
Okay.
So what happens in Canada? Because obviously Canada is fundamentally sort of British on the line. You'd have to check there. So any Canadians in the house who can comment on that?
And this would be one of the questions. But is it his place to investigate a decision made by an Ohio judge? And that's I don't know for sure. I can't say either way because I don't know. That's one of the things that I have questions about.
Let me question
as much as I feel like it's inappropriate,
right.
There's also a difference between what I feel is inappropriate for someone to do and what is legally wrong.
But the question now stems, let's say Joe Blow was issued a warrant for his arrest, and he lives in Massachusetts, and there was a warrant out for his arrest, and they find out that he's down in Florida. Does a prosecutor or a DA or whatever, do they have the authority to investigate that warrant and say, I'm going to look and see if this warrant was issued? Did they have all the facts when they issued this warrant or whatever? Or are they just going to say, hey, you got a warrant, I'm going to take you into custody like they do everybody else in the world?
Yeah, and thanks for the person who just gifted me a membership on Ricada's channel. I got an email.
You take what the judge said. The judge issued an order, and that's what it is. It is exactly what it is. It's the judge's order. But like I said, it's common sense, and we're always dealing with that. And
Gail, we will get to your comment probably Thursday. The fire truck, Air Canada jet. We will get to that Thursday. That will be the topic of my stream for Thursday, is the crash that happened overnight between a Bombardier CRJ 900 from Air Canada and a fire truck at JFK.
Oh, they didn't bounce off each other, did they?
Yeah, because the fire truck was trying to get to another emergency and cross the runway. And from someone who's driven across an active runway more than one time, scared the shit out of me every time. It's never been as large of an airport as JFK. It was MKE, but I've done it. And it scares the shit out of me every time, even though I can see that there's no jet coming. I don't want to be that guy. And yeah. With that being said, that will be Thursday's topic. So, however, we are going to stay on topic for this because this is 70 pages, and the other document that we'll get to tomorrow is 80 pages. So there's two different immunities, the qualified immunity and absolute prosecutorial immunity. Whether Owen, as a state prosecutor, is entitled to absolute immunity for his conduct in investigating whether plaintiffs committed perjury. Whether such an investigation conduct constitutes investigative function, not entitled to absolute immunity, or prosecutorial function, entitled to absolute immunity, under established legal standards. That right there is the main argument, because if you can't get past that,
Right, there's nothing.
Like, it doesn't matter how good the rest of it's written. It is what it is. So, full faith and credit. State official liability. Whether a state official acting under color of state law can be held liable for violating federal statutory rights. That should be an interesting one too. Mm-hmm. Because for some reason, this right here reminds me of like 1965.
Right. I got you on that.
If you know what I mean in the chat, if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. I'm not getting into it, but like, hey, Steve boy.
By the looks of it, to me, it looks like that they have really done some research on this now. They've really done some research because they're being specific.
It's just one of those situations where it's like, it has to be airtight.
Right.
Complexity of legal issues, clarification of factual and legal disputes. The district court dismissed plaintiff's appellant's claim on the basis of FRCP 12b6, failure to state a claim. For relief, plaintiff appellants contend that the district court misapplied the pleading standards. Ashcroft v. Iqbal and Bell Atlantic v. Twombly. Oral argument will allow the parties to address the sufficiency of the allegations in the complaint and clarify how the facts as pleaded support the claim under federal law. Importance of the issues to public policy. This might be a good one too, in my opinion. Like I said, not a lawyer, never claimed to be, despite certain people calling me a practicing law without a license, never claimed to be a lawyer. I just give my opinion, and if people don't like it, that's a them problem. Exactly.
Everyone has an opinion. Like, everyone's got an issue. You have to respect it. Or not.
So basically, Owen is claiming he has the authority to question any decision rendered by a court that is not in his district, to break it down in simple terms.
So he's trying to set up the rules then, eh?
Well, technically, he hasn't. This is not him. He basically, his motion to dismiss, if I'm remembering correctly, because it has been a minute since I've read it, was basically 12b6, failure to state a claim. The funny thing about that, when people claim 12b6, they only say that in my opinion, they only claim that that the appellee or the plaintiffs did not state a claim for my brain just
specifics. They weren't
for relief. Yeah, you weren't specific enough. The interesting thing about that is they never claim that they didn't do anything wrong.
Right. I noticed that too.
That's what always gets me about a 12b6 is like, you're trying to claim a technicality. you are not actually claiming that you didn't do anything wrong. That's the funny part to me, or the ironic part, you might say. So if I'm remembering correctly, he only used 12b-6. He did not say that his actions were appropriate.
No, I
and that
don't.
he didn't do anything wrong, or he had the legal standard to do what he did.
No, he did not.
That's the interesting part to me, which is why I feel like Jeremy appealed this. Like, if he would have claimed more in it, but a 12b-6 is basically the way the claim is written. To me, like I said, just my layperson's interpretation of a 12b-6, you just didn't give me enough to state a claim. That's not saying that what you're claiming that I didn't do.
Right. It's just that you didn't do it. You just didn't give me enough information. It's a you problem, not a me problem. It's a you problem.
Yeah, that's a you problem.
Yeah.
Which was why I was critical of Randy, because with being spread so thin, could he have written that better? Could he have written Federal 2 better? Could he have written the Federal 3, this claim better, if he hadn't been spread so thin? Saving Jeremy money. And I'm like, not that Jeremy is my favorite person in the world, because we all know I criticize him all the time, because he's not a big fan of mine either, so we're even. However, with that being said, could he have saved Jeremy a shit ton of money if they would have gone to someone or hired someone or worked with someone who was better at writing civil rights complaints? They gone to a civil rights attorney, got an expert in that particular area of law, and it was written to the point where we didn't have to appeal. It's just kind of one of those things. That's where my brain goes, like big picture, not narrow focused, big picture. How much money would we have saved not having to appeal to the 11th Circuit?
Exactly.
Still got the point across, not had to appeal.
Like if it had been written like this in the beginning.
And Chucky, that's the other reason why I'm covering this. One, because it's interesting to me from a prosecutorial immunity. However, it's also, they don't want things going public. And I love exposing people's dirty laundry when they're fucking stupid. And Dan Owen, whether this gets brought up or not, and whether this appeal works, is completely different than I'm still putting Dan Owen's bullshit on the internet for as many people as I can get to see.
Yeah, I wonder if the fact that now it's really encompassing Levy County and Dan Owens and everything, if it'll get more media as far as like TV or newspaper traffic, because this has now become not just an argument between two different neighbors. This has now become an actual constitutional case.
And William Allen, thanks for the $5 super chat. That's been my only complaint about Randy. There's been a few filings that lacked enough detail to prevent issues. Same. Like, I don't dislike Randy as a person. I don't know Randy as a person, so I have no However, there has been multiple motions that have been either dismissed by the judge or denied just based on lack of merit. Like, you didn't put enough in here to make your argument make sense. Which, for me, when it's like a 20-page motion and you still can't get your point across, I'm like, do what? And that's where I'm like, this wasn't like this at the beginning of Fed 1. Is he too stressed, spread too thin? That's always been my question. And it's not an accusation. It's just a question. Are you spread too thin where you're doing too much? Your brain is in too many different places, and the quality of the arguments are.
And they got to realize too, you're not going to be able to argue this in motions like you would just a normal case that you're doing. There's too much attention being brought to it. Too many people are reading it. Too many people are seeing what's being said. You got to bring your 100% A game from the get-go on these particular situations. That's how I feel. I think you've got to just be a little bit more detailed, and he's going to have to really get in there and like this, gives a lot of information.
JH only has to provide enough evidence to prove the case is sufficient to bring before a jury, and the Florida judges seem to want to sweep things under the carpet and make them go away. Well, there's a difference between what a state judge requires and what a federal judge requires. They have the leeway to ask for more and be more specific. And that's the reason that not any lawyer can just go and practice in a federal courtroom. You need to be certified is not the right word, but you need to be.
Is it like you're not licensed?
You need something in order to practice in federal court. And this is one of the reasons why. It's because federal courts require just a little bit more oomph than.
Yeah, it's like
working with an 8,000 word max. Jeff brings up a good point. 10 defendants working with an 8,000 word max for a complaint. No attorney could provide sufficient detail for each defendant. And that right there is a problem. Why I always feel like mass tort lawsuits are such a problem.
Yes.
And this isn't mass tort technically speaking, but like too many defendants and like shit gets in the way. Like shit starts to slip. So, and Bruce Manskin, welcome back. You.
Yeah, fucking Bruce Manskin. Yay.
I have not seen you in a while. And this is a parody account. This is not.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just make sure, like, don't attack this person in chat. This is a parody account. I know who this is. So, question: does anyone know how all this court stuff started? Don't get me wrong. This whole case has gone way up from their trespassing to civil rights being done. That's a big. I mean, this case, man. Like, this case. Like, that's the whole reason to be detailed. It makes it harder for the judge to take the easy out.
It's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year long.
I thought that was herpes. I mean, Bruce kind of reminds me of like a human version. He's just the gift that keeps on giving even when you don't want it to. Yes. Okay. Thanks, Gary. You need to be licensed. I knew there was like a thing. I just don't exactly know the entire process. So I don't claim to speak on it as this is fact. I think you need something. I'm just not sure what it was. And hey, Randy. It's just a, thanks, Gail. All right. Interactive nature of oral arguments. Basically just telling the court why you should schedule an oral argument, which I love appeals oral arguments. They are fun to watch. This one probably it's federal, so obviously no cameras, but if you ever go to like Florida's District Court of Appeals website, you can actually watch courtroom cameras for the Court of Appeals, and it is so much fun when you know the case. That's the geeky side coming out. Statement of facts. Do we really need to go through all the statement of facts again? No. So we know that they're Ohio residents, obtained valid protection orders. We all know they just got them renewed, I believe. Preston and Cook both attended hearing via video conference and represented themselves. The issue court had jurisdiction over the parties. Under 18 U.S. Code 2265, Owen was required to give full faith and credit to protection orders and enforce them as if they had been issued in Florida. He's an assistant state attorney for the 8th Judicial Circuit. Instead of enforcing the protection orders required by law, Appellee Owen refused to recognize the validity of orders. This order occurred via an email dated 10/30/2023, in which Appellee Owen initiated investigation into whether Appellant Hales had been truthful when obtaining protection orders.
And how would he know anyway? He wasn't there. He wasn't in there for the case. He doesn't know what evidence was shared.
Yeah, and I can understand being critical and questioning people. Like, I get it. Like, you see orders all the time. Like, one of my friends, his ex-wife tried to get a protection order against him because she was pissed.
Right.
And she tried to do the kids are scared of him, blah, 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 and they are not. I wrote a letter to the court. This is the only time I've written a letter to a judge on his behalf because I've known him for so long. And I'm like, no, what she's saying, completely not true. Like, completely not true. So I can understand as an attorney or a law enforcement being questionable, but that is not your scope.
Right.
Like, we always talk about the things that are free in life, the ability to mind your business and stay in your lane. Well, that is the definition of staying in your lane.
That's it.
Your job is to enforce shit.
That's right.
Your job is not to, I mean, if you had an actual problem, you should probably go to the person first and work it out that way. Like,
well, your job is to uphold the law and enforce the law, and to be unbiased in your duties, and to follow the core values of that you have been taught as a police officer.
And Randy says, I think Hales wants to drag this out for content. Just my opinion. I think there's more they could have done. I don't disagree. I think everybody's kind of addicted to the drama right now. I just think everybody's addicted. Like, it's addicting. And having the numbers in your chat and people who are like will watch everything, be it nobody likes me. I only have 69 people in here. I'm not popular because I'm not one side or the other. I'm not anti by any means. The facts lead me in one direction, but I'm realistic versus saying everything that someone wants to hear just because it will get me views. And that's not popular. But I can understand everybody who's covering this wanting to cover it and being kind of addicted to the views that they are getting and how people like love to hear them talk about it. And like, I get it. It can be addicting. And I think
Sorry, like, first of all, you don't have to explain yourself to anybody. All right. Second of all,
but I'm saying like YouTube as a whole.
Yeah, you do as a creator, and I'm saying it's not to kiss your ass. I'm saying it because it's fact, right? You as a creator, I've actually learned more of you. Well, I mean, there's other people I've learned of, but you, in a way, are inspiring for me. I mean, like, the thing is, I've been extremely busy over the last few weeks, and I'm all over the shop, and I feel really bad for the people who come to my live stream. However, you have to understand that you never have to explain yourself about, if people don't want to be here, that's their choice. But the people who do come here, they want to be here, right? So therefore, you should never, ever, ever explain yourself to anybody except to yourself and the ruler upstairs. Simple. And to be perfectly honest with you, people like me who street, I mean, for me, it's about my opinion about this thing. But most of, like, I've been neglecting not just my gaming channel, but my main channel because of like other things that I have to do in 3D work. But you do your live streams on here, right, with court documents, and then you do your other one. It's admirable.
Oh yeah, last night's was fun, and next week, not to get off topic super much, but y'all, if you haven't checked out my other channel, we are in a chronic pain series. Every Sunday we are talking chronic pain. Well, next week will be next Sunday night at 9 p.m. So after Jeremy is done, will be chronic pain and women specifically. So y'all, if you haven't checked it out, we've done fall prevention, chronic pain, and once I get I think once the little goes to school this fall is when things will I'll have time. So right now I'm doing most of my work for Sunday night's live stream when I'm on the treadmill. So, you know, like
Well,
it's a thing.
no, I just wanted to get that off my chest because there's no need for you to explain yourself to anybody.
Steven says women can be a chronic pain. I agree. It's more of chronic pain and hormones. Why pain gets worse every 4th week. So if women, you want to check it out. Men who live with a woman, you want to check it out. Okay. Girl, I gotta remember how to turn these on. There we go. There you go. She wanted her headphones.
Mommy, help.
Help what? Go get your pad.
No.
All right. Ugh. Well, everyone is in shock. Explain how JH got limited into a Women's Domestic Violence Federal Act to get a CPO. So either JH is female or he's working their system. I'm not sure about that one. That one, I'm not exactly sure. Like, I saw some information on it, but I have to do more research because I don't remember. Like, I was talking to someone about it because they sent something to me and was asking me my opinion on something, and I don't remember. There was an explanation that I researched, but for the life of me, right now, I can't figure out what it is. I can't remember what it is. So, yeah. That is not only for females. Yeah, it's for anyone who hops on their menstrual cycle every month, once a month, and runs over a man. I think that George is part of the CPO that was adjudicated to apply to men and women. That's it. It was adjudicated to apply to men and women, not just domestic violence. It's not just against women. That's right. Thank you for that. I
For a second there, I feel like I'm in the wrong conversation here.
Vicky, can you email me? I have never I've heard of that and I've seen some research on it from school and stuff, but I have never actually spoken to anybody with stiff person syndrome. I am curious to know everything that you're willing to tell me, because I piqued my curiosity with that one.
If Vicky is who I think she is, she's been having a really, really hard time with what's going on with that. It's terrible. I'd never heard of it till she started telling me about what was going on.
Vicky, if you're willing to tell me, I would be more than happy to have a conversation, because I've heard of it. I've just never actually talked to anybody with it. And it's almost like CRPS was before I met Mo, where you hear about it, but you don't actually know about it until you meet somebody with it.
That's how I was. I had heard about it, but I didn't really understand it. And then I came across someone that had it, and they were explaining to me what was going on, and it's terrible.
So the email, can you email me the petition that so-and-so filed in order to obtain this order of protection? If you don't have a copy, please request one from the clerk of Summit County. That right there is where I feel, okay, that right there is where I'm like, my red flag starts to go, you know?
Right.
It starts to, it's once again, like, I know people reach out to people behind the scenes all the time. However, is there a statute that, like, because if I'm remembering correctly, and this, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't actually remember, Jeremy and George tried to give them a copy of it, right? And they wouldn't.
Once, 3 times. That's actually been on film 3 times of them actually trying to hand it to them. And the police officer, one of them, he's like, here's a copy of it. And she tries to hand it to the cop at the schoolhouse. And the police officer's like, I don't need that.
And that's where I'm like, that is one of the things that's hinky to me in the sense of you're reaching out to Summit County, Ohio, which might be valid or legal, not valid, but you're reaching out to them without actually looking at what the protection order says from the person who has it. That's where my brain goes. That's shady. Specifically, I want to see what representations he made in regards to Preston Cook. My understanding is that he has no ties to Ohio, or appellant Hales has no ties to Ohio, much less Summit County, Ohio. On or about November 20th, Risk reported protection enforcement orders of the orders on Williamson of the Lee County Sheriff's Office, who stated in his report, I reviewed the Assistant State Attorney's email regarding this matter. It reads that he would have cautioned against enforcing this injunction. That right there to me is like you stepped out of your bounds, because instead of just investigating while you're enforcing it, you can all, in my opinion, he should be able to investigate it for its validity, but still enforce it while you are investigating.
Exactly.
And then if you find out that it was fraudulent or whatever, then stop. Then stop enforcing it with your proof. However, while you are investigating it, you need to enforce it. That's a CYA thing for me.
That's it. I agree.
And the fact that, have we not learned from Mama Mo? If you're going to do something stupid, don't put it in writing.
Exactly. Right. They know these are public records. This is not rocket science for these people, okay?
And this is why I feel like they think that they can do whatever they want. Because when you fuck up, the thing I learned is, if you're going to say something stupid, don't put it on the internet and don't put it in writing. If you're going to say something stupid, say it to someone's face or call them so they can't get a text message copy or an email copy. Then it's just your word against mine, instead of it's an email that I can FOIA. How stupid can you be?
Obviously, very much so. But you're right. I had a teacher in 12th grade that I passed a note in class, and she called me up and made me give her the note. And of course, she read what I wrote, and she looked at me and she said, "I'm going to give you a piece of advice." She said, "Don't you ever forget it." She said, "Don't never sign your name to anything." She says, "As long as you don't put your name on it, you can always say, I didn't say that. But the minute you did, you write it down and put your name on it, your fate's sealed."
And our resident law enforcement expert in the chat, it's not my job to second guess a judge's order based on an unfavorable opinion of the order. It's my job to enforce that order.
Just like it's their job to enforce an arrest warrant. It's not up to the police or anybody else in that area to question whether or not that a warrant is valid based on the merits. That wasn't their job. Their job is just to enforce it. The court had the job of deciding whether or not it was, based on its merit, whether or not it was actual.
And Vicky, I got your email. I'll read it after the stream before work. It's just one of those situations where it's if you feel like something, like when people get arrested or pulled over and they are trying to fight the cop, it's literally the cop's job, even if they're wrong, is to enforce the law. If you think the cop did something wrong, take it to the judge and be like, this dude screwed up. This dude screwed up. Don't sit and argue with them right there, because they literally can't do anything.
Right.
Especially when it's an arrest warrant from another jurisdiction and you get pulled over and they find out you have an arrest warrant and they just have to enforce it. If you think that you're being wrongly accused, take it to the judge, because you arguing with the cop is literally going to get you nowhere good. Because that's not the cop's job. Say, oh, you think you're being wrongly accused? Well, have a nice day. It's not ever going to happen. And the fact that people still argue with cops, I'm like, I don't have to like cops to know not to argue with them.
Right. You're not having
Like-
court on the side of the road.
No, that's not the time, not the place. Take your shit and go into court and be like, this dude screwed up. This is how he screwed up. Do something about it. So, you know. All right. So appellants alleged Owen acted under color of state law on Halloween through at least May 1st. Both plaintiffs were present in the state of Florida and at least on 3 occasions, beginning November 23, presented the protection orders to Levy County sheriffs requesting enforcement. Each time enforcement was refused based on appellate Owen's position, or appellee Owen's position. Owen conceded in his motion to dismiss that he was investigating the Ohio court's jurisdiction over the restrained parties. And you stupid moron, like playing devil's advocate. When you are writing a motion to dismiss based on 12b-6, don't say anything else that you don't need to say. Like,
It's like there's people that have the right to remain silent but lack the ability.
Yes. Oh my God, the guy who hit me was one of like the guy who hit me in his car, like rear-ended me at a stoplight. He had the right to remain silent, but he didn't have the ability. He was doing a lot of this, and I was like, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, can I go now? Like, I was the victim in the situation, and I still didn't tell anything that I didn't need to the cops. Because none of their business. At the end of the day, they're looking for evidence of anything. And if you say something and they go, well, what are you talking about? No. We don't. You don't need to hear anything but the situation that we're in now and everything related to this situation specifically. You don't need to hear where I was headed. You don't need to hear where I came from. None of the business. So, appellants filed a complaint 9/21/25 alleging they suffered physical harm, threats, emotional distress, fear of death or bodily injury, and financial harm. District Court dismissed the complaint for failure to state a claim, concluding Owen was not law enforcement personnel under 2265. That was that weird thing of like, the state of Florida statutes are so weirdly written that a lawyer or prosecutor is not an officer of the court, but not law enforcement either. What the hell are they?
Right.
Like, well, please stop. Please stop or I'm going to put you down. Then stop pushing my mic away. Thank you.
No.
The complaint failed to allege what Owen was supposed to do. There was no plausible claim based on 2265. The most obvious problem with the appellant's claim is that they have pleaded no facts plausibly suggesting Owen nullified anything. Even if appellee Owen asked for a copy of the documents and pondered while the appellants obtained the orders unlawfully, that does not nullify any valid order and does not preclude a court or law enforcement from acting on the orders. That it questioned whether there is a private right of action under 2265 or whether it's enforceable through 1983. The appeal followed. Summary of argument, 18 U.S. Code 2265 creates a private right of action enforceable under 1983. The district court improperly applied 12b-6 pleading standard. All right. Ma'am? The complaint must contain sufficient factual matter. Argument. 2265 creates an individual enforceable right under 1983 because a mandatory command that protection orders shall be accorded full faith and credit and enforced uses unambiguous, rights-creating language with unmistakable focus on individual beneficiaries, directly satisfying the Supreme Court's requirements in the 11th Circuit 3-factor test while providing no alternative enforcement mechanism. That was one sentence.
But they're right. The wording is explicit. The 1983, it's explicit. It doesn't leave anything to be interpreted. It's completely explicit in the way it speaks.
It's just a weird. I just have to return a message real quick.
Mommy, is this?
Uh-oh.
What?
Here, hit this. There you go. All right. So, did you case law? Historically, individuals brought in 1983 suits to vindicate rights protected by the Constitution. But in 1980, court recognized that 1983 also authorized private parties to pursue violations of their federal statutory rights. Still, this court has emphasized statutes create individual rights only in atypical cases. Routinely, of course, federal legislation seeks to benefit one group or another. Why pass legislation otherwise? But 1983 provides a cause of action only for the deprivation of rights, privileges, or immunities, not benefits or interests. To prove that a statute secures an enforceable right, privilege, or immunity and does not just provide a benefit or protect an interest, a plaintiff must show that the law in question clearly and unambiguously uses rights-creating terms. In addition, the statute must display an unmistakable focus on individuals like the plaintiff. All right, Supreme Court's test for determining whether a statute creates an enforceable right under 1983 requires the provision in question be phrased in terms of the persons benefited and contain rights-creating individual-centric language with an unmistakable focus on the benefited class. Ooh. English is my only language and it's hard. Like, oh my goodness. If a statutory provision surmounts this significant hurdle, it secures individual rights that are deemed presumptively enforceable. The three-factor test: 1, contains rights-creating language, individually focused, addresses the needs of individual persons, and lacks an enforcement mechanism through which an aggrieved individual can obtain review. As will be shown, 2265 unambiguously benefits individuals. Down? Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I love you. All right. Contains rights-creating language focused on individual beneficiaries and satisfies the requirements established by the Supreme Court and applied by the 11th Circuit for Section 1983 enforceability. Oy. That was... And we are only on page 23. I'm skipping reading the actual case laws because they're there if you need them. This document has been posted multiple times by multiple people. If y'all want to get your hands on it, it's not unbelievably difficult. However, it takes time. And hey, hose picker, how are you? I feel the cops were acting from personal opinion, acting as a judge instead of enforcer, instead of upholding the law. Yeah.
I agree. Completely.
Yeah. Oh, it's May Punter with the dad jokes, but this one applies. How many lawyers does it take to change a light bulb? None. They'd rather keep their clients in the dark.
So true. So true.
And hey, Anaya Print. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. I'm having a blast because I just purchased 2 items from Elgato. Nice. I was thinking about getting their teleprompter, but I'm not sure yet. I've heard some things. All right. 2265 states full faith and credit.
You know what I find quite funny?
Huh?
Since we've been on your live stream, I've lost subscribers. Bye.
How many subscribers have I lost since having you on this channel? I've lost 1 on my other one.
Well, here's the thing. At the end of the day, they didn't want to be here in the first place. So, ta-ta, bye-bye, adios, arrivederci, sayonara, fucking go on.
I haven't lost any, but I haven't gained any either. So,
well, the thing is,
we haven't even hit 100. We haven't even hit 100 viewers in this live stream. So,
for me, it's quality, not quantity.
True. but I like having, the more people that hear this, the better.
Yeah, but here's the thing: you don't have to complain. You are miles ahead of me.
I know who you are. Ugh. Lawyers only screw people, not light bulbs. I mean,
you can't argue that.
Can't argue with that. Like, how many sailors does it take to change a light bulb? 1 to actually do it, and like 6 to tell you how. You know that, Spawn. That's not a Navy thing. That's just a military thing.
Yep.
1 person to actually do the work, and like 6 people to sit there and critique how you're doing it.
Yep. And then afterwards, you get your CR report or your mid-year appraisal, your MPAR, and then after that, you get your SJAR. And there's a 99% possibility you won't get fucking promoted. So yeah.
Oh, and this stream had 2 thumbs down before I even started. I had 2 thumbs down yesterday when I set it up. Because I actually set up Sunday stream on Friday and today and tomorrow stream yesterday. I was ahead of the game for once in my career.
Gail. So I got to say this, Gail. Let me tell you something. I love being with Squid and my pretty, because and with JK and DJ Rattus and all the other guys, because the thing is, you can actually have a normal conversation. Well, with my pretty, you have to like sort of like throw her a broomstick, but other than that, it's good fun.
So Spawn meant it as you, like the person who rage quit, didn't actually want to be here. Like not him. Because if he didn't want to be here, I would just go whoop.
You know you'll pay for that later, right?
I brought him back. It wasn't permanent. All right. Any section of this court by one state, tribe, or territory shall be accorded full faith and credit by the court of another state and enforced by the court or law enforcement personnel of the other state. Section 2265 prioritizes. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. The protection orders must be recognized and enforced across jurisdictions, ensuring that those seeking safety from domestic violence, stalking, or harassment retain their legal protections wherever they go in the U.S. All right, so he goes more into what the statute focuses on. Protection orders themselves demonstrates it's an individual-centric nature. Protection orders are inherently personal legal instruments obtained by specific individuals seeking protection from specific people. By requiring full faith and credit for these orders, Congress necessarily focused on the individuals who obtain them and depend on their enforcement for their safety and security.
Correct.
2265 uses mandatory rights creating language that unambiguously confers the enforceable federal rights on individuals holding valid protection orders, distinguishing it from statutes with merely precatory or policy-driven terms. I'm loving the way this is written as far as like, this is what I'm talking about and here's why. This is what I'm talking about and here's why. It's a long document, but it's easy to read. I mean, it's not taking me like, I'm not looking at it and going, holy crap, what am I doing?
And they're taking each individual part and breaking it down, bam, bam, bam. It was really good written.
It's almost like they know what the judge is looking for and they know how to argue it for the specific judges that they know are going to be looking at it, and they know what they expect, which makes me think this wasn't written by Randy.
Right. That's what you and I were talking about earlier, is that you thought possibly somebody that writes appeals and stuff regularly.
I think what's happened is that basically after everything that was said from Judge Burrito, fucking whatever your name is.
Litho. I heard him say his own name in an interview.
And Henkel, and both judges, what they said, and let's be honest with you, there was a lot in between the lines. A lot. So I think this is just to start us from responding to that.
Yeah, that judge, but for this case, Belatha wasn't on this case. Belatha wasn't the judge, or Hinkle wasn't the judge either. This
But
was
they've taken those responses and they've implemented it into this.
yeah, but this wasn't
And I think it's well written. It's to the point. It's sweet, short, and pow.
The judge in this case was Alan Windsor. So
I remember that name. I remember that name. That was a long time ago.
Gross. Gross.
Depends what color loofah you got.
Gross. Look. How to lose my appetite in 3, 2, 1. A statute must be couched in mandatory rather than precatory terms to create enforceable rights. The provision giving rise to the asserted right must be couched in mandatory rather than precatory terms. Courts have long recognized that the pertinent question in determining whether a statute provides a basis for a 1983 suit is whether Congress intended to create individual rights binding on states, as opposed to mere precatory terms that do not unambiguously create state obligations. 2265 employs mandatory language requiring that protection orders be given full faith and credit when enforced by other jurisdictions. This is not permissive or exhortative language suggesting that the state may choose to honor protection orders. Rather, it's a binding command that creates an unambiguous obligation on state courts and law enforcement to recognize that and enforce validly issued protection orders. And it doesn't matter if the person thinks they're not valid or they weren't obtained validly. Like, that's a job for the person who has the restraining order against them. Dan Owen could have gone to Preston and Cook and been like, I think this is bullshit. This is how I would tell you to fight it. Go fight it. Right. Like, that's not Dan Owen's responsibility. It's...
And they're right that the wording in the statute does constitute.
But he made it his business. He should have respected that order and then dealt with it afterwards. Implemented it and then deal with it afterwards.
And Robert, thanks for the $5 super chat. Florida Department of Law Enforcement need to take a hard look at the Levy County Sheriff's Department and the 8th District Court. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But I also think that like each jurisdiction of anything needs oversight. And I feel like certain times, certain people don't ever get oversight or accountability. It's and the accountability thing and the oversight. I think FDLE should literally go county by county once they finish with one alphabetical. And then when they get to the last county, start over. You know, that might take a 2 to 3 years. But it should be like a hospital who is like, you get inspected by Joint Commission to make sure you're following the rules.
Yeah.
And you get investigated by the state. They come in and do inspections and stuff to make sure that you're like, your infection prevention protocol is up to, standards and all that stuff. It needs to be the same thing with law enforcement. You need the state bureau, like in Georgia, GBI, to go county by county from A to Z. And once you get to the end of the counties, you start over again. Every 2 to 3 years, they need to be investigated and inspected by the state to prevent shit like this. Would it prevent everything? No, because there are shitty inspectors too. However, yeah, risk management. Perfectly said. You need to be inspected routinely to make sure that you're following the rules. And I feel like that does not happen with law enforcement. I could be wrong. There could be some states that do things like that. I don't know. I have not seen any of them FDLE arrested the Osceola sheriff, and DeSantis suspended him recently for running a gambling operation. Well, that's interesting. Oh,
And didn't Dan, isn't he elected?
I don't know whose ass he kissed to get elected.
I might be wrong. I know Robert will know if because he's there and actually votes in that area. But
I thought Coachella was
I do believe he's elected.
No idea.
I don't know. I'm not sure either.
This mandatory language demonstrates congressional intent, creating binding obligations that protect individual rights. The benefited class is readily identifiable in 2256. Persons who have attained valid protection orders from courts of competent jurisdiction. I appointed by the state attorney general, which at the time that was before Bondi, right? Because if that was Bondi, we got a big old problem. I mean, Blondie.
I'm not sure.
All right. Well, Section 2265 is phrased as a command to jurisdictions to honor protection orders. This command necessarily creates a correlative right in protection order holders to have their orders honored. And I am skipping some stuff, but like this is 70 pages, y'all. Like we're on page 2016 of the motion, but 26 in total. So hey, King Bob, how are you?
And thank you, Velusa, for finding that. He said that Velusa says Dan is the chief prosecutor. The 8th Circuit state attorney is the elected official. So Dan would have to be then appointed.
I did not see the fact that the Rome, Georgia courthouse was on fire. A
lot of weed is going on. Smoke. If they got people out there with fans, I'm gonna die.
Third thing. 2265 directly mandates interstate enforcement of protection orders to safeguard individuals, domestic violence victims, without conditioning compliance on federal funding or limiting federal involvement, distinguishing it from both spending clause legislation that operates, this is one sentence, contractually through voluntary state acceptance of funding conditions, and the Parental Kidnapping Prevention Act that emphasizes jurisdictional standards while deferring substantive, I hate that word, family law matters to state courts. One sentence. Holy lawyers, can y'all figure some things out to like make this that easier to read? Hey, Amos girl, how are you? A few hours. Hours and hours. 2265 is fundamentally concerned with ensuring that individuals who have obtained protection orders can rely on those orders to protect them wherever they go. Statute does not establish general framework for interstate judicial cooperation or create a comprehensive system for managing court records across jurisdictions. That, to me, is a problem. Not with this case, but like just in general. Like,
right, because they have a thing that you're supposed to be able to file those protective orders on, right? And there's supposed to be a place where law enforcement can find those protective orders whenever they want it. But it doesn't always necessarily, we saw that with Jeremy, it didn't get put on there at first. It didn't get put up there at all. Jeremy had to take the order actually into the police department and hand it to them.
And they didn't want it. Which
and
to me is like stupid. To me is so dumb. Like, I mean, that right there.
But if you got a child custody thing going on and dad's supposed to pick up the kid at such and such a time, mama says, no, I'm not giving it to him. Dad can show up at the house with his custody papers in his hand and the police will act on what those papers say. Make it make sense.
True. Each protection order is issued to protect a specific individual from a specific threat. The stated purpose of 2265 was to close a major loophole by requiring each state honor the protective orders issued by other states. By mandating full faith and credit for these orders, Congress addressed the individual safety needs of DV victims and other persons seeking protection, not abstract governmental or systematic interests. Whew. The aggregate-focused statutes are in stark contrast to 2265's individual focus. Those aggregate-focused statutes serve primarily in accordance with federally imposed conditions to direct the federal government's distribution of public funds. Although federal statutes have the potential to create 1983 enforceable rights, they do not so as a matter of course. For spending clause legislation in particular, we have recognized that the typical remedy for state noncompliance with federally imposed conditions is not a private cause of action for noncompliance, but rather action by the federal government to terminate funds to the state, which we've seen. Hold on. She's mad because I won't give her candy. So if you hear her yelling in the background, she's mad at me because I will not give her candy. Heaven forbid. The spending clause, we don't care. Does anybody care about government spending besides that they're doing it too much and that they're spending money they don't have? Not relevant to me with what I care about here.
But see, what they're trying to apply here using the spending clause is they're saying that if the states don't follow these federal procedures and everything that's put out, then the federal government can take away their funding. That's how they make the states cooperate. That's how they're making the states cooperate and do what they want them to do, is by saying, we're going to take away the money if you don't do it.
I yeeted myself. There's this button right here on the side of see that right by my thumb? There's those buttons. Well, one of them is the back button. And if my finger gets too close to it, especially when she's wiggling around and I'm trying to get her comfortable, I'll slip. And sometimes when I slip, I yeet myself out of my own stream. Did not end the stream, but I just hit the back button and left the studio. Good job. Yeah, no clicking, but I didn't do it on purpose. All right. Yeah, follow federal law or lose a couple million of tax money. Yeah. Exactly. It's just one of those situations where, like, we know we said at the end of the sentence that I was talking about, but rather the action by the federal government to terminate funds of the state. I'm not reading the spending clause. Like we can skip that because we all know exactly, like, hey, AT1, long time no see. Exactly how they got 55-mile-an-hour speed limit passed today and seatbelt laws. And the 0.08 blood alcohol limit. Because when I moved home, it was still 0.10 in Wisconsin, and then they changed it because if you didn't, you lost federal funding.
That's right.
All right. Additionally, 11th Circuit emphasized that when interpreting statutes, courts should favor readings to avoid preemption of state sovereignty unless Congress's intent is unambiguous, particularly in context of spending clause legislation. We all know spending clause. It's one of those things where it's like dry reading. Like, I'm not gonna read it. Sorry, if y'all want to read it, this document will be posted somewhere, I'm sure. The legislative history and framework of 2265 do not explicitly indicate that its requirements are tied to federal funding conditions. as is typical of spending clause legislation. Instead, the statute primarily established the requirement of full faith and credit for protection orders issued by state, tribal, or territories, ensuring their enforceability in all states from the state where the order was issued. 2265 does not reference conditions tied to federal funding or suggest that compliance with provisions is a prerequisite for receiving federal funds. Because this focus is on the enforcement of protection orders and the jurisdictional authority of courts, rather than on the allocation or conditional disbursement of federal funds. Therefore, based on the statutory text and the relevant case law, 2265 is not tied to federal funding conditions in the matter typical of spending clause legislation. Yeah, thank you. You look gorgeous.
It's so beautiful. I love it.
Too much. Rather, Section 2265 creates a specific legal obligation that operates on a case-by-case basis, protecting individual rights in individual cases. 2265 must be analyzed in the light of the Supreme Court's reasoning in Thompson v. Thompson, either its constitutional or statutory incarnations. Full faith and credit clause is a rule of decisions for courts, not an implied federal cause of action. Construing the Parental Kidnapping Prevention Act. However, unlike statutes that explicitly confer a right on a specific class of persons, a legislative history of the PKPA, unusually clear indication that Congress did not intend federal courts to play the enforcement role. Like, goes more into the parental kidnapping, which is applicable here, but like it's not to the heart of the matter.
Right.
It's just another example. All right, 2265 does not provide an alternative enforcement mechanism or prohibit Section 1983 actions, indicating that Congress intended individuals to enforce their rights under 2265 through Section 1983 when state failed to honor protection orders. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. We're down, we want up. We're up, we want down. Just never satisfied. Never satisfied. All right. And I have about 6 more minutes before I have to get going. So we'll cover the rest of this tomorrow, same time, same channel. Hopefully the same people. Spawn's always questionable. No, I'm kidding. He's a little busy right now because it is later in the day at his house because he's in the future.
This is true.
You know, things happen around this time, like, eating. The third factor of the 11th Circuit analysis considers the statute lacks enforcement mechanism through which an aggrieved individual can obtain review. 1983 is generally and presumptively available remedy for claims, violations of federal law, apart from exceptional cases in which Congress itself has made it clear, either by expressed words or providing comprehensive alternative enforcement scheme, that violation of the statute will not give rise to liability under 1983. 2265 does not contain an express prohibition on Section 1983 enforcement, nor does it establish a comprehensive alternative enforcement scheme that would be incompatible with individual enforcement under Section 1983. 2265 does not create an administrative review process, establish a federal agency with enforcement authority, or provide any other mechanism through which individuals can vindicate their rights when states fail to honor protection orders. The absence of such alternative enforcement mechanism strongly supports the conclusion that Congress intended individuals to be able to enforce their rights under Section 2265 through Section 1983. Without 1983 enforcement, individuals whose protection orders are not honored would have no federal remedies for violations of the federal mandate, a result inconsistent with Congress's evident intent to provide these vulnerable individuals. All right, I think 5 is where we're going to wrap it up, because it goes into unambiguously creates enforceable individual rights. I think he's pretty much met those 3 conditions that the 11th Circuit looks for. Appellants had a valid protection orders issued by an Ohio court after hearing at which the restrained parties had notice and opportunity to be heard. The issuing court had jurisdiction over the parties and subject matter under Ohio law. This establishes the protection orders met the statutory requirements for full faith and credit. Oh, gotta love pollen season.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
I washed my car yesterday. You would never know. My car is yellow.
Oh, it's terrible here. I mean, it's to the point that like literally my skin is itching. If that makes any sense at all. Like my skin is itching. Yep.
I itch all the time. Like my skin is so sensitive that I will. I've been putting that Tallowed Truth on my skin all over the place because I itch. And like, that's the only thing that's like, it's like A&D ointment, but better.
It's been terrible. They've been cutting grass here all day. And anytime they cut the grass, it makes me itch terribly.
Like I got a headache, but it's like I've had a headache for like 2 days. So I'm like, you know. And
Right,
Chris, thanks for being a member for 12 months. A whole year.
All right, so let's get to the nitty-gritty. So
and Curblith, thanks for being a member for 8 months. I'm still a baby. Well, we're glad you're here.
So what do you think is going to happen then? What do you think the end result? Let's preempt this. What do you think is going to happen?
I have no idea.
I don't either. It's too hard to call something like that. It's just it just depends.
I mean, we're only halfway through, so, and I haven't taken the time to read the entire thing. Like, I'll put it in Speechify and have it read it for me while I'm working tonight, because I have 3 hours of walking around an extremely hot warehouse tonight. Fun times.
Well, I got a funny feeling that this is probably going to rattle some cages because this is well written and it's to the point. There's no, oh, they said this, said that, said it. Basically, straight to the freaking point.
81. I have a Navage, but it only helps a little bit when your entire car that is normally black is yellow. When you can look out your window and you don't see a black vehicle, you see yellow. When you can't keep your windows open, even when it's like 60 degrees outside, because your windowsill will turn yellow.
Right. You
can't sit on your front porch without wiping down the seat because it is yellow. And if you sit on it, your pants will be yellow. It's awful.
Terrible. It's right now down here. Well, you're in the South with me. And it's just, it's awful.
Yeah, it's
inside the house, literally, because like we opened, we made the mistake, of course, of thinking, oh, we'll just air out the house. It's been wintertime, shut up. We opened the windows and I've got pollen like on my kitchen table.
Ugh. Yeah, Robert, we have our smoker and our Blackstone covered up with the covers right now, and the covers need to be sprayed down because they are yellow. And every time you take them off, you get this plume of yellow up in the air, and it's like an instantaneous headache. Oh, I just can't. This is why I can't wait this is why I don't like spring, because between the patch on my head expanding and contracting when it gets cold and hot and cold and hot and cold and hot, instead of just staying in one spot, yellow everywhere. So, whoops. And I just realized that when I'm in the live chat, this is me. This is my other channel. So if you see that person typing, that's me. I just realized I have the chat open, but the chat is open on my other account. So, All right, so I'm going to take this off the screen. We will get to more of this tomorrow. I will leave it up so we know exactly where we are. However, we got final thoughts, and I got to do that. There we go. I'm not convinced right now, even though this is very, very well written. They haven't gotten to the immunity part yet. So as of now, I'm not convinced that this is going to go anywhere. Unpopular opinion, I know. Do I think it should? Because I hate immunity, and everybody should know by now how much I despise the word immunity when it comes to the legal world. With that being said, I do know that if you can't get over the qualified and absolute immunity hurdles, this stuff about full faith and credit clause does not matter. And I think that just being hypercritical of the way this is written, I am not a lawyer, so you can take this one with a grain of salt. But because that is the biggest hurdle, I would have put that first.
Right.
I mean,
pay attention to it. Mm-hmm.
Made them focus on that first, because that is the most important thing, in my opinion, in this case. If you don't get past the immunity, full faith and credit means nothing. And yeah, immunity. Gotta hate it. Hate it. But if you don't get past it, nothing else matters. So the fact that that's not first, like the first thing that was mentioned in this, and the first thing that they really delved deep into, I think is, I don't know. Like, it's well written, each portion, but should it have been arranged a different way? Yeah, Robert, if that would have worked, we wouldn't be in this situation of having to appeal this. So I get what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you from like a moral perspective. However, do the absolute immunity statutes cover or mention that or allude to that? Because I don't know if they do. But I don't know if, honestly, I don't know if it'll be enough. Because I just don't know if it'll be enough. Like, Zach, I back squatted 150 pounds today. I rode 1,000 meters, did 50 thrusters, and 30 ring rows. That was my workout today. I'm tired. It's just, I don't know. What do y'all think? Give me your final thoughts.
I agree with you. You don't know. It's not like it's cut and dry. It's not like you can look at it and say, oh, this is going to absolutely pass the muster, because we don't know. Especially not at this point in the filing. You'll read more, come back to it, and it goes into a little bit more detail about different things later on in it. But even at the end of everything, I'm with you. I still don't know. I mean, there's no way of knowing, because I don't necessarily know that this has been attacked part of it for this situation. I'm not sure. So I think we're kind of a little bit in uncharted territory where this is concerned.
Yeah. Like, I hope it does. Like, I am one of those people where it's like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between what I want to happen and being a realist.
Right. Being realistic and knowing that everything doesn't, just because something's right doesn't mean it happens. Just because we know that it should happen that way doesn't mean it's going to happen that way. Unfortunately, that's the world in which we live. It's just, that's the facts.
Yeah. And I mean, and it's one of those things that people tend to hate me for, is because I am not Jeremy, or on the other token, whatever they're chanting on the other side these days. I don't know. I don't pay attention, but it's one of those, I am not on either side. I go where the facts tell me. And just because I think someone might be a good person or not has nothing to do with what I think about this case. It's just I'm realistic. And for better or for worse, my career, my degree in occupational therapy, and my years of clinical experience has taught me to be objective, not emotional. Sometimes to a fault. Sometimes to a fault where it's like when I need to show emotion, I can't because it's not in me anymore. I went to the Mr. Squid School of Showing No Emotion. So better for worse, people criticize me because I critically think to a fault. And it's one of those, I can't not think this way. Excuse the double negative. This is just how I'm ingrained based on life.
Right.
There are very few things I get overly emotional about, and people who I don't even know or talk to is not one of them. So, but I do have what I think is a decent conscience to not, and give people a basic, decent human respect and decency, even when I don't like them. So it all goes back to, like, if we just respect other people and stop, like, being stupid, this never would have got here. Just respect people. Like, you don't have to like them, just respect them.
That's it.
And that's my takeaway from all of this was this is a level of disrespect on all sides, frankly, because I've seen screenshots of things that people post online that, like, someone saying, well, this and that, and that. I do believe that people are being attacked for no reason. Like, that both sides are attacking other sides on things that they really should not be talking about. Things that are none of their business. And yet,
or they're
here we are.
attacking people because what they're saying is correct. And they don't want people to, I don't know, it's really strange. I mean, I've seen various different types of behaviors where I'm like going, you know, that this is not about you, it's about someone completely different. The only thing that matters is your opinion and your insight of what you believe. Your opinion about it, where other people actually physically live it. They live it day in, day out, and they become emotionally involved. And at the end of the day, is this your life? Is this your court case? Is this your money you're spending every day? No. So be opinionated, yeah. Be constructive. I mean, constructive criticism is healthy, but to actually have your life revolve around it, I'm sorry, no.
And just getting to Zach's comment real quick. Zach, a lot of people cheated. Have you not seen the 26.1 and wall ball controversy or the thruster controversy? Like, there's a depth problem. It's just, there's a whole host of judging issues, but that's a sideshow. For what it's worth, I think you're okay, Squid, and Squidlet is pleasant distraction from the BS. Yeah, I try to keep her off camera or, like, not, completely centered in frame as much as possible. However, she, at the end of the day, I am a stay-at-home mom, technically. When does that title end? Because I work a few days a week. So when does that no longer qualify? But I technically am home with her all day, and she is the most important thing in my life. So, on the good news side, my final thoughts: fourth grandkid was born last week. Yay! Congratulations! All right,
ladies first. I'll go last.
My pretty.
That was it. That's what I said. Like I said, I agree with you completely. We just have to kind of wait and see. And once you get to the second part of the document here, they do kind of touch base on a lot more things as it goes on into it. But there's no way of knowing. There's no way of saying it's not cut and dry. It's just not there. So
That's true.
I'm with Squid on that. We just have to kind of wait and see.
Spawn, what you got?
I mean, from what I have read and everything else, I think this is probably going to rattle someone's teeth. But like,
Oh, wait. You mean rattle someone's tooth?
Oh.
I had to correct you. I'm sorry. We need to be specific on this show.
Okay,
Medically accurate.
rattle someone's tooth.
In order to rattle the teeth, you have to have two that touch.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, so and to be perfectly honest with you, I mean, like I will be going live tomorrow myself. I'm going to be doing other stuff as well, but I'm looking forward to discussing the second part of this, because I think that a lot of people need to understand is that when you've got multiple minds and opinions, or different opinions from different people. Now you have to remember, out of three of us, I'm the only foreigner. So think about it. You've got and this is another thing. It's not just Americans or Canadians who are watching and getting involved in this. There are a lot of people from around the world who are witnessing this. So, it's also a good idea to take their their perspective on it as well, because let's be honest with you, this is better than fucking EastEnders. Or there used to be programs in this country called EastEnders or Neighbors, and different programs like that. What do you call it? Dallas. Oh my god! But anyway, I'm looking forward to tomorrow, and let's just see what happens at the end, and then we'll go into depth about it.
All right. Before we do get going, Chuck, you said I had to pick up my kid at school. Are you going to be covering the Air Canada crash at LaGuardia yesterday? Yes. I was sent a message about it around 1 a.m. This morning, and an article, and I will be covering it because this is something that is it's not personal to me. However, I have driven across an active runway in an airport vehicle. So at a semi-major airport in the US. So I have a little bit of insight on what you're looking for when you cross an active runway. Not like that's rocket science, but there's taxiways and there's runways that need to be crossed for certain things, and situational awareness has to come from somewhere. And yeah, so we'll be talking about that on Thursday. I was debating going back and forth on a couple of things for Thursday, and then that happened, and I'm like, okay, here we go. So anyway, Spawn, I have us set up to redirect over to Nick Starro, who is covering the Kelsey Fitzsimmons trial. Go tell him I said hi. And Spawn, would you like to yeet us out of here?
Yeah, absolutely. Toi, deux, eins, ja,